Assalamu alaikum. So today we'll talk about a very interesting subject, resilience. So usually resilience always framed in some area of weaknesses of defensive. But in the AI economy, we believe that it's a competitive edge for organization, nation, and human. What if I say to everyone here, you'll be jobless in 5 years? Intelligence is going to be abundance. Everyone literally going to have capability of reasoning and do everything you do. How is it going to be your future, your kids, your nation, your actual institutions? This is a big topic that I'm going to talk about today in 15 minutes. I'll try to make it short as much as I can. So we'll talk about how this is going to be enabling organizations. So the focus in the discussion in this session focus mainly on organizations and innovators. So what is the, yeah. Okay, so every era in the economy is actually, it's defined by invention. And this invention has infrastructure for it. Today we see a lot of talk and discussions through panels and everywhere. In fact, even in the train, I was coming from Zurich, all discussion about AI, about who's gonna, gonna control and manage this next era of economies. So, foundation model, data center, and so on, is really key driver to make success and competitiveness. But there's a big topic is about governance, not about the daily data, about the execution and behavior of the agent, as well as our human contribution, will impact the organization as well. So all of us, we maybe lived. I was lucky, actually. I from the era of 1978, 79, from the era of computer systems. So I lived the journey of having computer system 1986, and then I get to the internet. So I really lived this experience. The internet changed my life. And not only that, the cloud. The cloud is abundance. So the compute become abundance. I can access, I can create anything where the SaaS came to the picture. So just let's reflect in a generation. I don't think any one of us in the room have lived it before electricity. But electricity, it has infrastructure. It's enabled us to scale through grid. Computing, I remember very well that I managed to do all the compute capabilities as gaming, and this is a new lifestyle of work as well, where IBM at that time for mainframes enabled us to do information systems. It was the infrastructure and the utility to have access. The internet, the same thing. Amazon, I cannot, forget about how can I order everything from my home. The cloud as well. So how is the AI going to take us in the economy? Foundation models, it's been now almost 4 years it's very effectively actually after that. So the friction point, is it about data centers and executions? So I'll walk you through this, how this future will diverge. We have AI scale. Readiness is different from organizations. Definitely the outcome is different. So everyone have access today, access to AI as AI compute is going to have the ability to leverage. But in reality, there is something is missing, is the adoption of a human. Our capabilities as a human to be able to be adopt and to get leverage of this. One interesting discussion that someone said to me today, the train, that we'll be more dumb, actually, because AI is going to take our jobs. In fact, this is not the case in my presentation. We talk about how to be adaptive as a human, how you can know more knowledge that you used to take time for reading a lot of books, and you can leverage these books. Now you build these capabilities as a human. So we need a new skill set. We need to reskill ourselves. And this is impacting our readiness in time of work, people, generation, and GDP as in economies as well. We don't have time as much as before. Time is very fast. It's unbelievable. In 3 years, things are changed massively. People until today still think about AI and get afraid of AI. Because I've been in the field for some times, I say, wow, that's amazing. And people say, yo, this will impact the environment. I say, well, let's make solution for the environment using AI. So the stagnations is going to be, we're going to have three people here. Who is going to compound in this economies by contribution as a human, as a person, or organizations, which impact the nations, or other people who are going to stagnate in others. So there's it's a highway, so you cannot go backward. Either go to the highway, is going to be, you're going to miss the era of the economy. So I'll walk you through the agentic frontiers. Most of us living now are actually, they can live the experience of abundance of intelligence. Internet gives us a lot of compute, but still organization didn't reach the abundance of compute. Everyone is busy with context engineering, make engine capable to understand their organizations, and so on. But this modeling and reasoning is really going to be commodity very soon. I'm talking, we are in 2026 now. I think 23, all the organizations already have the abundance of compute. Most of the people, they not need it in the jobs if they don't reskill themselves. It's a fact. Autonomous executions. So the agentic capabilities still we are missing now. It's about how to execute at scale. So everyone now is saying, well, we have agentic execution, but they cannot scale it. And this is something the infrastructure is going to be built for resilience. So until today, to talk about resilience, we need the infrastructure to scale it, to reskill resources and have the ability to execute the agent at scale. And that's all need the governance. Governance is not about only data and AI in general. It's behavior of agent and governance and framework to protect the human and nation and economies. Because this is very important in order to all the nations and organizations can get the benefits of it. Otherwise, it will be limited to certain organizations. So how we make this shift will impact us. So if every infrastructure, we talked about the eras, it used to be like kind of utility for us. The technology innovation is very fast, but the organization and people still taking their time. So we believe that if the infrastructure to be agentic AI as an era, so we need the infrastructure for it. It has to be utility, meaning that the governance and agentic level is to be implemented. Until today, in 26, we don't have it. We cannot go anywhere, and you have, like in your country, you have agentic execution with governance. It's not yet there. So once it's there, so the train is gone. So if you're not already reskilled yourself, you reskilled your organization, you reskilled your nation, you'll be really missed out. You'll be in a different generation. And that's why we believe the intelligence as an infrastructure is the key, to be always on, accessible, and already it's very marginal costly, so it's not costing a lot of money. Which is happening today is this is where we are. They treat the intelligence as a project. It's a use cases, repeated, redundant of work. That's why we are slow. So in the context of people, to get out of this, so resilience is going to be created by collaborations. So it's not going to be X company or Y company who are going to do this. It has to be started in order to be in the agentic AI economy productive. It has to be started with ourselves. It's recreation between human and collaboration is going to happen as a foundation for the future. So we define the policy and accountability for a human and the agentic executes. So human needs to be reskilled in a way that enables them to manage their agent. The same thing is related to executions and innovations. So innovators today, they can multiply the effort which we're going to do it today. For example, if you are a company with 300 people, you can run a company with 50 people by applying the agentic AI capability. Doesn't mean that 250 people, if they're going to be jobless, it's their decision to be jobless because they need to reskill themselves. And they can maybe create their own companies and they compete with the others. Because intelligence today is abundance. Actually, it's going to be abundance very soon. And execution is going to be the utility. So are you ready to have the utility of agentic AI? We are not far, maybe 2030, but are you ready? That's a big question. Because if you are not ready, you're going to miss it. So let's operationalization about it. So as any utility need the infrastructure need to be operationalized. Operationalization means I don't need a project, I guess. It's always on. I know what I need to do. I reskill myself and build and can create value in the economy. Continuous policy governance, observability and auditability, and across ecosystem, innovators and organizations and countries. I'll leave you with one question before I close. Who will shape the execution infrastructure AI economy in the future? We have seen in the second slide about the history. Electricity, we saw companies like Siemens, GE. In computer system, we saw IBM and Oracle and so on. And internet, we see companies like Google and others. And when it comes to AI, the first phase of AI, we see, they call it ChatGPT come out and OpenAI and other companies now. But who for execution would come as a utility, which impact everyone in their daily life. This is an opportunity not for companies, it's even for individual level. The reason is because the productivity, since the intelligence is an abundance, when execution become utility, that you can, as long as you are really knowledgeable, you know what to do, you can contribute to the economy. Thank you so much for your time.